Hey, fifth grade. Today I'm going to be talking about how we're going to be starting our luminary project. So, what a luminary is something you can put a candle in. And so, we want to utilize piercing and other techniques that we learned last year in order to have light shine through. And so, for our standard, it's I can document, describe, and identify places and or objects of personal significance. So you're going to make something that's personal to you. So let me talk about the design. So I chose my design. It's some fir trees with fish and some water and some rocks. I chose to do this because one of my favorite memories of me and my dad was us fishing when I was little. And so I decided to do that. And so I have some areas where it's going to be open. Like I think I'm going to keep the eye open. I'm going to keep some of these under the fish that are going to be open so the light is going to be shining through. And so once you are done, we don't want to make it like too high. I would say about 5 inches is good, but you want it to be pretty long because we're going to wrap this around once we cut it out, and it'll be like in a circular form. And so I'll explain it better later. All right, so when you have your design done in pencil, then you are going to outline it in a dark washable marker, preferably like a blue or a purple. All right, now that I have my design, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll out a thick slab. All right, now I have my large thick slab. And so when you have your large slab, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around and I'm going to spray your slab. And then we're going to put the design over it so it sticks to the clay, or the design comes off on the clay, and then we'll cut it out. Give it a nice rubby rub. And then there we go. Now our design has transferred, and so now we can start to do the things that we want to do. So in order for this to fit in the bag, first we want to cut out our main shape, and don't worry about the marker. It won't show up when it comes out of the kiln. And so I'm just going to go along and carefully cut this out, and also cut the pieces that are going to be pierced as well. All right, so while you have your slab, so this is where you would easily get it in and out of the bag. Like if we needed it to clean up, that is totally fine to keep it nice and flat. So this is where you would use the loop tools or the needle tools or any of the incising tools. You would work while it is still flat, and you would kind of like draw your lines. You would carve where you needed to carve, like if some parts were lower and some parts popped out, this is the time to do that. After I've carved everything out, let me zoom in a little bit. So I've carved like the areas like I want for my trees to be pushed back. I'm not done with them yet, but before I start to do any kind of like incising where I'll give like the texture of the trees, I'm gonna want to smooth it out. So I'm gonna take just the slip water and I'm gonna smooth this out so it doesn't look so lumpy. You can even take your finger and kind of smooth those out. But make sure it's nice and smooth before you do any incising. So when you think about incising, a lot of kids like to use the needle tools, and yeah, they're fun, but I mostly use them for piercing or if I have to do really, really tiny details. But for like, if you're just kind of doing lines, what happens with the needle tool is that when you're basically drawing into the clay, you'll get kind of like those little dots. But if you're using one of like these tools, you can get a really nice smooth line because you're not really like moving the clay, you're just kind of pressing the clay. So I'm just kind of doing that and then I get no dots. All right, when you get to the point where we're going to curve it, I'm going to be giving you a piece of cardboard. You're going to put it in a baggie so we'll be able to take it on and off. And so when you get to this point, you're going to need to roll out a slab that's about the size of this. It can be a square, it can be a circle, up to you what the shape is. That's about the size that we want. Let's see, I'm just gonna kind of mark it. I think I want mine to be circular, not square. There we go. Cut that out. Now, we're going to do some slipping and scoring. So we know that slipping and scoring is one of the only ways to attach pieces of clay together. There are actually more, but this is the important part. So I'm going to make my score marks. I'm going to make my crisscrosses. They do not have to look pretty. Lots of kids like to make them just like X, X. No, no, no. Just scribble them on. And if like I hit a place that I don't like, that accidentally doesn't have it, I can always rub them away. And so I'm going to move this out of the way. On your slab, you're going to want to score this line as well. Score, 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 score. All the way down. Make sure to make those crisscross marks too. And then I'm going to put some slip. I'm not smoothing out the scoring marks because if you do that, then you're basically defeating the purpose of slipping and scoring. So I'm just putting that on. I'm going to move this down, this back, and now I'm going to kind of wrap it around. If you need my help in this part, that is a-okay. All right, and so it's a little, I know it's a little hard to see, but now it's kind of wrapped around. It looks very cool. And so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do some smoothing so it looks very seamless. And so for this side I'm going to leave open. But if you want to like make something else to close it off, that is totally fine. I'm going to leave it open so I can just slide my candle in and out so I don't have to put my hand in. All right, that is looking pretty amazing. Very nice. Okay, so, and where I want you to put your name is I want you to put it like right in the middle. And then your class code. So this will stay up a little more once it starts to get like leather hard. So like let's say you're still kind of working on it and it's in this stage. This is where this comes in handy. So you're just gonna place it on your cardboard and then you're just gonna slide it in and out of your bag. It's okay if like this bends or something, that is totally fine. Then we can just like place it back. Like the only way it's gonna get like completely ruined is if we fire it and then it'll be rock hard, but since we haven't fired it yet, we can always just kind of put it where we need it